For the past few years, I've heard an increasing number of people who I'm close to, and then just some really just in passing, talking to strangers at Dollar General or at the gas pump, just express how much they wish they could just skip the holidays, and how much the stress has just really got them dreading any kind of family time or any kind of gathering. And not necessarily the family part of it, but just the stress leading up to it, and the expectations, and the rush to make sure that everything's done and make sure that everything's perfect. When at the end of the day, like, these kids that we're responsible for, they don't care if the turkey and dressing is, if the turkey's dry and the dressing's burnt. Like, they don't, none of those things matter in the long run. But those are the things that we value the most, I feel like, more and more over recent years, which is contradictory to how you would expect it to be, considering how much loss everybody has had. And maybe that does factor into it a little bit too, that people have lost so many people, and so it's just not the same. You know, there's always a missing person at the table. There's always an empty seat. And it's just a reminder of that heartache of the past few years. And everybody has gone through so much. But I would invite you to take a moment to look inside and really be honest with yourself, and ask yourself why that is. Why all of a sudden, in the midst of such tragedy that should, wake us up and put things into perspective, why the opposite is happening, it seems, and why more and more people are becoming disenchanted with the entire notion of holidays and family gatherings, in spite of increasing amounts of loss and tragedy and things that are out of our control. Because they are out of our control, and life is precious, and I feel like we're wasting some of the most beautiful, precious, important moments in our lives and in our children's lives and in our family and friends, the people that we genuinely care about, our soul tribe. We're missing out on the most important parts of those relationships because we're focusing on all the wrong things. And maybe, just maybe, consider that it's a wake-up call. Consider that there is a higher power that knows best for us beyond anything that we could ever imagine. We run around acting like we've got it under control, but we don't. And maybe there's something that genuinely cares, something or somebody that genuinely cares enough about us that they're trying to shake us out of our apathy. And maybe all of this loss, maybe all of this tragedy, maybe all of this trauma, maybe it's trying to shake us awake and help us to realize where we're going wrong before it's too late, before there's another empty chair at the table, before there's another grudge that's held unnecessarily for years and years and years, and then that person passes away. And I'm not talking about people who cross boundaries and who are genuinely toxic for your physical, emotional, or mental health. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people that you love, that these holidays are meant to spend celebrating those bonds that we've cultivated throughout the year. But instead, we run this rat race and push everything else on the back burner, thinking that we've got to do the next best, greatest thing, and we've got to make it perfect, and we've got to be here on time, and we've got to fulfill this slot in the schedule. And it's just overscheduled to the point that we don't have time for the things that matter. And so we end up on Christmas, one, hashing out all of the drama that we've avoided all year long because we're all in the same place and tensions are high anyway. Or two, it's just small talk, catching up on the things that we should have been having those conversations throughout the year, so that we can spend this time with the people that we love, actually celebrating those relationships. But how can you celebrate anything at all if you don't know how life has been since the last time that you had small talk over a holiday meal? So I challenge you to just be honest with yourself and identify your priorities and live every day from this moment until your last, focusing on those things that matter and cultivating those relationships so that you can celebrate and so that you don't dread this time of year. Maybe. What do you think?